Hi everybody, welcome to 5 Minute Ministries. I'm starting a new series I'm calling Virtues. Now I went through little sins and talked about the ins and outs of those kinds of sins and what we do about it and all that. But I wanted to be a little more encouraging. So I wanted to talk about good behavior, things that God expects of us and things that ultimately the world expects of us. But how people seem to not really know what virtues are or even what the word virtue means. So let's start off with that definition. What is a virtue? Virtue is behavior showing high moral standards. Now, the world appreciates virtues until it goes against the way the world thinks or it steps on someone's, quote, rights. The world is more interested in rights than what is right. And that's the whole idea of virtues, doing what's right no matter what, no matter the situation, no matter what it might cost me, no matter how difficult it is. That's what virtues are. It's doing the right thing. So virtues, even in the world of people who follow Christ, virtues are fine until they get in the way of what I want. We all fall victim to this. We all want what we want, and sometimes we will forgo our virtues in order to get the things that we want. And individuals expect virtues of others, but will excuse themselves from being virtuous. They will justify it in one way or another. But we as followers of Christ are to always observe virtues. 1 Timothy 4:12. Okay, why should we observe the virtues, especially as followers of Christ? Well, first of all, we show who God is by observing these virtues and exhibiting them. Ephesians 5:1. People always judge our God based on who we are. And if we are not what we should be, they have a reason to not trust God. They have a reason to hate God because we give them reasons sometimes. Not all the time. Sometimes their reasons are unfounded, but sometimes we are the reason they want nothing to do with God. We are called to a higher standard, Colossians 3:17. We are to be people of excellence, the Bible tells us. And we cannot be people of excellence if we are not virtuous. We will be held accountable. 2 Corinthians 5:10, we will sit before the judgment seat of Christ as followers of Him, and He will say, "What did you do for my name?" And our deeds will be tried by fire. Some will burn up, and some will become gold. And we witness to the world with our virtues. And I talked about this a little already, Matthew 5:16. How we behave will either repel or attract people to what we believe. Now, there are dangers when it comes to virtues. That sounds kind of weird. If we're virtuous, then how is anything dangerous? Well, first of all, it can be a source of pride for us. We see all our good works and our attitudes, but refuse to see our shortcomings. Luke 10 to 12. Sometimes we'll say, well, I'm good here, and I'm good here, and I'm good here, but we ignore the things that are not very good. We focus on the virtues, our strengths, and we don't try to strengthen our weaknesses. Another danger is self-righteousness. We are working so hard to be virtuous, we just leave God out of the picture. We think it's all us. Look what I did. Look how good I am. I am a decent person, and I can do this on my own. And that's a real problem because we can't be virtuous on our own. Oh, we can try, but it's always tainted with sin when we do it on our own. But when we do it in the power of God, the power of the Holy Spirit, who is God, by the way, when we do it in His power, then we have the power to do it right. And self-righteousness is held at bay. We can also become judgmental when it comes to virtues. We look down on others who are not as virtuous as us. People do that all the time. If you ask someone, "Are you a good person?" and ask why, so, "Well, I'm not as bad as," and they have someone in mind against whom they're better, and they won't think of somebody who's better than them. They will think of somebody who's not as good as them and think they're pretty good. And we as followers of Christ can easily do that. And another danger is self-pity if we fail. I can't do it. I'm not going to bother to be virtuous. I want you to remember, if you're going to be virtuous, it's a sacrifice. It's a commitment. It's not about ourselves, and it's God honoring. I want you to think about those 4 things as we go through these virtues. And as we go through them, I want you to say, where am I strong? Where am I weak? How can I improve the weaknesses? This has been 5 Minute Ministries, and I'll see you next time.